We're going to be challenging your current beliefs when it comes to raising kids, being a parent, being a teacher, getting kids to cooperate, listen to you, all sorts of things. So we're Bonnie and
Thomas Liotta.
In 2018, we wrote a book called Raising Healthy, Happy, Cooperative Kids. And it talks about the formula that creates defiance and then shows you exactly what you need to do to create more success with your children. Now, I'm going to go through the 4 beliefs that we're challenging, and then we're going to replace them with new beliefs that will serve you and your family. Belief number 1 that we have today as parents on a global scale, all children should be lavished with attention. Number 2, we believe that our job is to reactive attention. Child does something we don't like, we come along, we do something called punishment, discipline, something they don't like. Bringing the old term, 2 wrongs don't make a right, that was coined into a phrase somewhere in the 17th century. But when it comes to parenting, 2 wrongs make a right. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit here. Number 3 is children should eat for free and play for free and basically have everything that you work really hard for just because they're cute and they're a kid. And number 4 is we believe in basically authoritative style parenting. We get down on their level and we look them in the eyes and we explain their punishments, then we can feel good about putting them in a timeout. We can feel good about coming in and taking their favorite thing away. I'm going to turn now to the solutions. I know that you're sitting there, you're listening to this and you're going, wow, yeah, 2 wrongs don't make a right. Well, maybe I never thought about that before. So the resource here, we're on page 20 and chapter 3 of the Raising Healthy, Happy, Cooperative Kids book. Make sure to go to learntospeakkid.com so you can get a copy of this yourself and you can study it with us. Every single week when we go live, okay? Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Myth number 1 is children should be lavished with attention. You know, that didn't come out till 1946 when Dr. Spock wrote a book called Baby and Childcare. But in 1920, parents were taught that if they kissed and coddled their babies in any way, that they were bad parents, that they would raise wussy kids. The children were to be on a strict schedule only. They ate at a certain time, they got out of bed at a certain time, and you did not respond to their kiss and coddles. Well, in 1946, Dr. Spock wrote a book called Baby and Childcare, where he writes in that book that, no, we've been doing everything wrong. And, you know, he stopped corporal punishment because corporal punishment was used before that time, so that's fine. He's like, you know, we're hurting our kids, so what we're going to do instead is we're going to lavish them with attention, kiss, coddle, and respond to their every whim. And when they do something you don't like, we're going to come in and we're going to put them on a timeout, or what he called naughty time. This is why today in 2022, we believe that kids should be lavished with attention, because for the last 85 years, it's been ingrained into our souls, into our minds, into our hearts, into our DNA that your only job is to love your baby. If our only job is to love our kids, Tom, when does our job actually start or end?
It never ends, because it's like feeding that bottomless pit. If you're always saying yes, you give them an inch, they're going to take a mile. And if you're the be-all, do-all for everything that they ever desire, why would they ever leave the nest?
The solution for number 1 is that children require purpose over attention. They want to feel like their lives mean something. Here it says parents had more children to have more help on the farm, because we're talking about what was the difference of parenting 100 years ago when our children were more respectful and they had work ethic and they had some characteristics called self-control and self-discipline. So what changed? Kids back then had purpose.
Yes.
Thinking that our job is to lavish our kids with attention and love them takes their purpose away. It steals any type of purposeful identity from them. So then we need to give our children purpose by actually creating more opportunities for more responsibility. If you're already having aha moments, if you're liking what we're talking about, give us a like, give us a comment below, share your story with us. We're here to help you, to serve, and to bring peace, harmony, and happiness to homes around the world. Because this whole teenage rebellion, terrible twos, diagnoses of child behavior disorders, ADHD, oppositional defiant disorder, guys, we're heading down the wrong path. We're here to kind of shock the world and go, no, your kid doesn't need another hug. Your child needs purpose. Number 2 was reactive attention. When I met Thomas, my youngest was almost 7, and I never even thought about teaching life skills. I thought it was my job to do, be, and have everything for him. And so the first time that Tom was actually around and my youngest son goes, Mom, I'm thirsty. I'm gonna come in and get him something to drink. I'm a great mom. I'm showing off to Tom, and Tom's like, Bonnie, I left something in the office. Can you go get whatever? And he sent me on this wild goose chase. And when I came back, well, you can finish telling the story. But the point is reactive attention is our belief. Child does something, we come in, we give them some attention. We haven't really been taught, conditioned, or trained on how to give proactive attention.
So yeah, we sent Bonnie on a wild goose chase just to create a little 1-minute window where I could look at the eye of Zach and go, he's just asking, I want to do it myself. When do I get a turn? And all he knew was, Mom, I want juice, right? And then it showed up. And we had to break that cycle because he's past the age of 2. We don't need to be doing for them anymore. Mm-hmm. So I asked him a series of questions. I go, have you ever made juice by yourself? No. I said, looks like you kind of want to, huh? Yeah. And then we just ran through the things. I was like, well, where do we keep the orange juice? And he knew exactly where it was. He pointed right to the freezer. So I opened it up, got out the juice, and I was like, well, this is a little tricky here. I wonder if there's a way to make this thing open. And I kind of just turned a little bit, and he pointed right at the little white tab on the side. And I'm like, So you just pull on that. And he goes, yeah. So he kind of held it, and I turned it, and he kind of undid it. We were doing with together. And then I'm like, okay, now what? He goes, well, and then he knew what the juice jar was. He knew where that was in the cupboard. Amazing. And then he brought it out. We're like, okay, let's put it in there. And I'm like, so we're done? No, we got to do that. And he knew the next step. He put the water over there. And so what it is we got a chance to give him an opportunity to get his hands in the operation. And so he stirred it all up. He knew where that spoon was, and he went around and around and put it right there. And I knew it wasn't strong enough because it'll hold it up. So I was like, will you get that glass there and hold that one? We did it to get it, poured it in. And he sat right there. And when it was all done, Bonnie came back, and then Zach had a big smile on his face like the cat who ate the canary. And I asked Bonnie, I was like, so Bonnie, who do you think made the juice show up?
Zach.
And Bonnie was like,
I never even thought to teach him to make juice. If you're with me on that, I do put a comment because I want to see where we're at. Like, have you taken the time to teach your 6-year-old how to grab juice from the freezer, make his own juice? Like, I just never even thought about it. So I'm curious to see where you're at. So proactive life skills training.
Yes. So the proactive part is to know that when they're asking for something, we don't do it for them. We don't tell them no. They're actually looking for guidance on how they can make it happen, and are asking you for the recipe. Show me how you do it, and give it to me in a form that I can start to duplicate. You see, that's the power of life skills, is duplicating the parents' efforts from ourselves to the kids, just like we did on the farm. We had kids, and they started, well, you're 2, you're following me, grab a bucket, and let's go get some water. And they love it. And boy, transferring and duplicating your efforts, you might have a chance to enjoy half your day.
Yeah. Like, imagine if all the bunnies of the world had a teacher. This is what happened to human beings. Dr. Bunny stands up and goes, you know what, guys? We should just stop teaching life skills. Your baby bunnies need to be lavished with attention. We should just hunt for them and do and be and have everything for them and drive them to their school and pick them up. Never let them walk to school. Never let them do anything on their own. Now, the baby bunnies, do they enjoy that? I mean, they just get to like sit in their little cave and eat their food, right? Like, they don't have to do anything. And then the baby bunnies become adult bunnies. And now the mom bunny has like 6 adult bunnies hanging around in her cave who don't know how to hunt, who don't know how to think on their own. They don't know how to plan. They don't know how to take care of themselves because mom did it all for them. what would happen to that generation of bunnies? 100 years ago, parents had more kids, the baby boomers, because they needed more help on the farm. From 2-year-olds all the way up, they had roles to play. They had a role in the home. They had a purpose in life. 13-year-olds were out building their own houses, having babies, and getting married. Just think about that for just a moment. All right. Now we're moving on to number 3, giving them everything for free. You buy them a bike, they lose it. You have to buy them a new bike. Like, where does it ever end?
How many times do our kids ask for something? If they say, I want a cookie, I want a fishing pole, I want something. No more yes, no more no, right off the bat. Validate it and go, would love for you to have a fishing pole. That's called a goal. Now, what did we do on the farm? Well, we worked that crop all the way through. And when we had a good harvest, then we could actually get that bounty and then go get the fishing pole because we earned it. We must do something first. And that's where we're asking us. That's a goal. Great. Show me the steps that I can start taking action on to move in that direction. Earning the privilege, because it's the neatest feeling in the world. Right inside it, it comes out like a volcano. Look what I did. I did that.
The last one is authoritative parenting. We've all watched Super Nanny. We may not even know who Dr. Spock is, but Dr. Spock is the grandfather, and Adler too. I think Positive Parenting Solutions studied Adler, and that's what she teaches. There's a lot of conscious parents out there that are regurgitating old teachers like Adler, like Dreiker's, like Super Nanny, like Dr. Spock, but they're all teaching the same thing. There are principles that when you learn them and you follow them can be very empowering, because our kids don't want another hug. I promise you. It might sound crazy to you, but they're not sitting in their rooms going, I wish my mom would come and tell me how much she loves me and how much and give me a hug. They're saying, how can I be with my friends? How can I drink alcohol? How can I be like you? How can I have Wi-Fi? How can I do all these things? They're not thinking anything else other than that. Instead of dictating and all the things we talked about today, we want to teach you guiding behavior. I had over 10,000 people in a business that I was building. I spoke all over the world. My story was always that we are born perfect and conditioned into mediocrity. And my children were all being diagnosed with these behavior disorders and mood disorders. They were depressed, they were anxious, there were all sorts of things going wrong with them. And I meet Tom, and my child asks for something, and he goes, oh, that's called a goal. And I went, goal? Like, they can set goals? And it's just started us on this whole new path. And we've done our due diligence for the last 10 years. We have researched, looked, read, tried to find any type of parenting philosophy or methodology that would match any success principles. Goal, set a goal, create a plan, persevere through obstacles, through the plan. That's our job, is to encourage our kids to persevere through the plan until they achieve success. And really,
I just really appreciate everything that you guys teach. So I have a just turned 26-year-old. I was the parent that just said no first and give myself time to research a matter before I would decide whether or not to change my mind with whatever stipulations involved. And then I got to the point where he basically just stopped talking to me. He did the boomerang thing. He moved out at about 18 and then moved back in at about 19. And then for the next 5 years, he lived in my house with headphones in, not looking at me. And it wasn't until I haven't said it for a little while, but it wasn't until I was really getting involved with your program that I started learning how to do things differently. And then he got engaged to be married and was going to move out. And I was just desperate, thinking I lost all this time. We've been in the same house for 5 years, not talking to each other. And now you're moving away. And basically, he said one of those things where like Tom was saying, you taught him how to lie, cheat, and steal. And he said, you taught me it's okay to lie. It works to lie. That's the only way you can you can get the things that you need. And so now I've got. Finally, we were able to talk, and we were able to heal a little bit before he married and moved all the way across the country. And now I've got 3 little ones that I'm working to try and do this differently with them.